Alright, sup YouTube. So, it's actually my second time recording this. I tried recording it once, I was like, don't like how I did it. So, news is out. Liquid dropped Riddles and Me Ultimate, done. They're like, we hate Ultimate now. So, first I want to say, Liquid, freaking awesome org. Amazing org. You know, they 6 years on them, no complaints at all. Great people, always supportive. Awesome having like cool teammates like HBox, Riddles, Last. Just really sick time. I got to live the dream of traveling for Ultimate. Like just, I can't say enough how cool it was. And they're still covering me for Level Up Expo. They got my flight to Kagaribi so I can compete in Japan for what is probably going to be like the last big like Ultimate tournament ever. Like there's going to be big ones, but I feel like this feels like the super event. Like literally everyone's there. 49 of the 53 best players in the world. And I'll still probably be at CEO, Combo Breaker. So yeah. Now, I know I did a stream for this yesterday, but it was like 3 hours. I don't believe people not want to watch it. So pretty much just a summary of why Liquid dropped. Oh, sorry, I didn't have music playing. Let me play some music real quick. It's like weird without music. Alright, there we go. Music is playing. Now it's not awkwardly quiet. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons Liquid dropped Ultimate. But pretty much Nintendo just sucks. Is like the best way to describe it. Right? Like, we saw news a while ago that Coinboxes stopped because Nintendo hates crypto sponsors like Coinbase. And like, yeah, like you can't. It's super hard for a company like Liquid to basically make money on Smash when Nintendo's like, yeah, you can't have Coinbase sponsored events at all. Oh, Monster, Energy Drink, can't have those either. And this is like kind of like in a long line of Nintendo just screwing things over. But at some point you can't like make any product to sell to sponsors when Nintendo's being annoying, or you can, but you have to go through like red like tape and like all these loopholes, and it just ends up being a pain in the ass. That's not really worth it. Considering how old Smash is anyway, I get to that later. Like there's that. Just not having Panda Global and Smash World Tour circuits really sucked. Like that was a while ago, right? Years at this point. Still, Smash has never got anything that big at all. I always remember that as like the day where it's like, damn, bro. Damn, I was so hyped for that shit. I was in both of those. Motivation just plummets as soon as that happens, right? But yeah, so not having like any events on the same scale as that, not having summits either. Like, you know, our biggest events are nothing in comparison compared to what we had. But events are so expensive, right? Like, going to an event like Genesis is like $1,000+ when you consider hotel, flight, food, entry fee. Whew. And like those, and like even though Smash is relatively cheap compared to things like League, Valorant, it's like, damn, bro, you can monetize those games. You can put ads in game for like Team Liquid or like Honda or whatever. Smash, Nintendo would never allow that. Yeah, and also, Smash viewership isn't really that good either, right? Like, Liquid looks at stuff and it's like, oh, personal streams. Like, even when I was doing good with my viewership during COVID, like 300+ daily viewers, it's not enough to, like, sustain myself, like, on that alone, right? In terms of, like, I remember asking Liquid and they were like, yeah, I need, like, 1,000+ viewers concurrent on average for it to be, like, a significant number, if that makes sense. YouTube, I don't know, but we don't really focus on YouTube too much. But yeah, and then finally, majors, because that was a big thing. Is like Smash used to have really good viewership of majors. They use a major and it's like, oh, 50,000 viewers, maybe 100,000 for some peaks. Right nowadays, there's a lot of majors in the US that get like less than 10K concurrent viewers. Like unless it's like Genesis, SmashCon level, like, Liquid doesn't particularly care about the small things. Like an event maybe as a major has like 5k concurrent, because there's not many eyes in that major, right? So like unfortunately this is just, Smash is almost 7 years old at this point. It hasn't updates for like balance or content for like 4 years. It's an old game, especially when like most esports get like updates like quarterly, it feels like. And yeah, and like so a lot of times for events that they were flying me out to that weren't particularly big, we would generally agree to like, oh, I'll cover like, figure out housing and you cover the flight, or like I have flight credits so I can use the flight credits on the event, and then Liquid gets me the hotel, right? Like things like that to make it worthwhile to bring them to these events, because like I would go to a lot of events, but yeah, basically just a lot of events weren't worth how expensive they were generally, which sucks. And Liquid's been like covering me for a while despite that, right? And yeah, the unfortunate reality is you're a big org. You have to be able to make returns on your investment. You run on a budget. And yeah, the only thing that's really worth it would be things like the Genesis SmashCon level of XO, because like top baiting like that, like a SmashCon, like SmashCon 2023, that top 8, that second, was worth more than like every other event that year combined for me, minus like CEO, because I won that, right? What else are the reasons they dropped me? It's just esports kind of downsizing across the board, which, dude, we had so much money coming in during COVID, like, oh my god, it was insane. But like, I think every org expected esports to blow up, got a lot of money, didn't blow up as expected, and now things are kind of like falling off, and most orgs are like slowly like dropping people just to stay more efficient. So yeah, that's just kind of is what it is. And I know people were, talking about like, oh, I wasn't super active last year, so that's why I was dropped. And I could tell you almost 100% certainty that's not it. Because I remember talking to Liquid a lot last year, and like I asked a lot of different people within the org, like individually, their thoughts. And basically, I asked them for a break in 2024. I was burnt out of the game. Like everyone could tell, I did not want to play the game. And Ultimate's a rough game now. Understandable, I think. So I asked them, like, yo, can I take a break into 2025? And they're like, yeah, sure. Just go to super majors and like prep for those, like SmashCon, Genesis. Let's make big moves. Because those are the things they care about, like the big events. So I don't think it has anything to do with my activity, nor my results, because my results were actually pretty solid. Like, sure, they weren't the best, but like, top 8 less big moves, beating Light Tweak. They were really happy with that. Winning Cream City Conversions, which was a C tier. While also doing well in the Street Fighter section, like, they were happy with that, right? I won Low Tide City last year. I think that was last year. Right, so like there was a lot of things I went to and I did pretty well at. 13th at SmashCon last year. This year, like, I haven't gone to a lot of stuff. I've been doing pretty well, minus my really bad Genesis. So yeah, and like even then, I also did a lot of other things. Like I did commentate at Cornerbox IRL. I commentated at like a college Smash tournament that they asked me to go to. They actually loved Riddles Made Evo. We both significantly outplaced our seed. They loved how like I just did a lot of content there, like recording stuff, posting pictures, and they were really happy with that. Basically using my socials there. And yeah, so basically at the end of the day, I fully believe when they just say, hey, it's because Nintendo sucks. Because Riddles and me were doing a lot, even if it wasn't in Smash. We were doing a lot of things that were very valuable in other places. And it's just kind of the unfortunate reality that, yeah, Ultimate is just in a rough spot overall. With that said, what are my plans now? Honestly, not entirely sure. I'm still doing events for Smash for the rest of the year. I've been enjoying Smash this year. Like, I have a lot of events planned out. Like, before the drops were announced, or I was even told about them. Like, Liquid and me talked about, like, all the events I'm going to, like, Combo Breaker, CEO, Kagaribi. Kagaribi wasn't, like, planned with them, but, like, Level Up Expo. And the point is, I have a lot of things planned out for the rest of the year. So at least for the rest of the year, I'm going to try riding out, like, just going to what I can. I got some flight credits to burn. I got things, like, already scheduled. I'll probably maybe try to do some other things. I don't know. maybe I go back to doing some cooking content because I always love doing that. I've been more invested in that lately. It's like Street Fighter, I've not been enjoying as much, sadly. I really had fun with that game while I was playing it. Really good time. I've kind of just gotten a little burnt out on it, a little bored of it. Still a great game. Like, maybe I enjoy 2XKO. But yeah, I don't really know. I'm just going to try to, like, look around, see what makes sense. Yeah, I know it's, like, a very, like, non-answer answer for that question. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a little bit of update. And, of course, I appreciate all you guys who are, watching this video, like, supporting me. If you ever want to help out, you can always sub to my Twitch. You can sub on Metafy, which subbing to the Metafy is particularly helpful, to be honest, because they get, like, almost all the revenue, unlike Twitch, which has a really bad split. But, yeah. So, whether you guys are doing that or even just, saying nice things in the comments, give me some support, like, I really appreciate it. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, I just figured this would be a better video than a 3-hour stream VOD. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye.